Do.
Welcome back. I hope our beautiful cartoon animated intro, 2 minutes long with a custom song, really roped you in. Welcome
Gets better every
back.
week.
Welcome back to episode 7 of Thrayne and our journey into the lights of Schema. We played last week, kind of an off-schedule week. We are back on our regular bi-weekly schedule right now. Next week, stay tuned. We may or may not be doing an episode of Shooting the Crit, ? I don't think we've gotten that far ahead of ourselves right now.
And I barely know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah, same.
Playing it a little bit by ear right now, but we'll figure it out one way or another.
And then we will be back on the 15th of the 11th of May for the next episode of Thrayne, and the 15th of May for the next episode of Breakfast and Dragons. When last we left off, our party had gathered together at the Festival of the Scheme and Lights, this strange aurora-like effect that takes place over the bluff city of Schema. It's kind of a festival town, grows every year, getting ready for the festival, and then when it's off season, there's not as many people there, like Gatlinburg. But
man, I don't know what you're talking about. We're at Ren Fair.
We're in Fantasy Gatlinburg.
The Fantasy Ren Fair. Here we are.
With a handful of people that get that joke from Tennessee.
That's fair. The influx of fairgoers and visitors and vacationers has just been overwhelming the last few days, and the party went about various errands, helping the innkeeper and helping Sandy at the Clever Blossom, and meeting some interesting characters and seeing, but not quite ever actually seeing, a Kestrel Vix, this strange antlered lupine creature. Also discovering there is a cave nearby that descends deep into the earth, where the same aurora mist rises up from this worked tunnel, a chute almost, deep into the ground. And at this point, with these strange questions lingering out in the distance, the party took the first day of the festival to venture out and enjoy the sights and sounds. Jubei seeking a personal errand as a generous gift to his companion Kai. Kai seeking to understand the cultures and martial prowess of those at the Scheme and Lights, signed up for the sword tournament or the summit. Selu has been exploring the gardens and seeking to know a bit more about themselves through that process. And Reese learning how to craft healing potions, which I will share with you mechanically off screen. But learning over the course of a day how to do so. And last, but certainly not least, Sir Mistlethar, Free Knight of Her Ladyship of Iona, was invited to tea.
Full title, or I'm offended.
That's right. How could I forget? Additionally, 2 other competitions were signed up for. The pheasant eating competition by Juve should be good. And Quarreling, a game of rhyming insults by Sir Mistlethar later in the festival.
So ready.
The old rap battle.
Oh, yeah.
Rapith battle.
Rapith.
Wu-Tang is forever.
I am here for it.
Party name.
That's right.
No.
No. Sorry,
no.
it took me a
Sean
second to realize.
Sean already got to throw freaking Wu-Tang as the party name in the last campaign of mine. He is not doing it here again. I refuse. Selu will walk away from this party.
That's fair.
That's actually a slur in a different language. In fantasy language.
Wu-Tang +1.
Wu-Tang and then Selu. Anyway, diving back in, Sir Mistlethar, You were brought up to the Cashlin home and escorted down hall into a private suite of chambers. And there met, and get his full title right, Drusillan Zarabin Lokal Senzu, a predominantly red-scaled dragonborn with golden, almost like birthmarked scaling up one side. And you see in his formal robes these long, very similar to the outfit you've seen Jubei wearing, but far more ornate, with an Ionin-style single-shouldered cloak added to the ensemble. You can see as his right hand is revealed underneath the cloak, the right hand is golden as well. And his left hand, clasping the right, is red. There's something about the red scales and the conversations you had with Jubei being an interesting point of contention in his culture. Set before you in the room to relay the scene, a simple wooden floor cleared away of everything else. There is an armor tree to the side with incredibly well-made and ornate blue overlapping plated armor in what you would consider a samurai style, and a vicious looking helm of silver and blue set atop it. Next to it, a rack of weaponry with 3 blades across, beautiful and intricately carvings across the scabbard inlaid with gold, denoting wealth and station very plainly to see. Though the rest of the room is bare, and before you is a cushion and a low table and a single glass of tea, or a glass for tea, excuse me, and a kettle with steam rising from the spout. Welcome, Sir Misselthar. It is a pleasure to meet you.
The pleasure is mine. It is quite an honor to be invited to such a lavish setting by such a affluent member of the Queen's service. Yes?
In my way, yes. Please, first, and he gestures to the cushion in front of the low table.
Still kind of being very foreign to whatever customs are being put in place here. Misselthar like slowly walks forward, slowly kind of kneels down, sits cross-legged, looks uncomfortable, doesn't know what to do.
Drusillan Senzu comes forward and sets the hem of his robe to the side and kneels down on the bare floor in front of you. And begins to lift the cap of the tea kettle and slowly spoon in from one of the containers to the side tea leaves and stirring it. How do you find the festival so far?
It is beautiful, unlike anything I have ever seen. It makes me feel very much at peace.
There is something special about this place.
What do you take from the festival?
Time away from the court. But we can discuss court politics another time. And he lifts up the kettle and pours the glass and sets it back down and then kneels back and gestures towards the glass. Please.
Yes, it is a pleasure to have you prepared this for me. And I slowly begin sipping on it.
It is something my brother taught me. remembering that no matter how high or low you may be, being kind to others goes a long way.
This sounds like a familiar doctrine to someone I know.
Well, and he begins to sit up, and you see that the trained acrobat in you, the fluid and quick movements he uses to get up, there is no frailty in his step. But at this closer proximity, you can see what you would consider signs of aging amongst his reptilian skin. This is my 10th festival. I wish I had been coming for longer.
The discovery of new treasures allows us to treasure or cherish the experiences a little more. So perhaps 10 years is a good amount of time.
Every year I meet someone new, and gestures to you, and I take away reminders, lessons. 1 year, even humility. It is good to be here. But please tell me of yourself and walk with me.
It would be my pleasure. I will finish the tea, stand up, take place beside him.
He walks to one of the doors, and these plain wooden doors, still expertly crafted, but not nearly as ornate as what you saw outside. The door opens before he even gets there, and standing outside is another member of the Drusen Guard, the full blue armor clad, and the interlocking mail that covers their scale and skin entirely. Opens the door, and he leads his way out. You find yourself on a balcony overlooking the gardens you had seen before.
This is where the spiral was on this level, right? Okay.
Yes. The spiral is not the... Yes, sorry, it took me a moment to understand what you were saying. Yes, you can look out and you see the dueling circle, and then the entirety of the garden kind of follows that same flowing path. How did you find yourself in Her Majesty's service?
Eat. It was a bit of luck, I guess. A bit of some might call it cowardice, but I foiled a plot to steal from Her Majesty, and I was rewarded for this.
And
quite generously, in my opinion.
An apt reward.
It is. It has presented me with a new perspective on the world around me, and allowed me to find a new set of friends, a new truth.
Interesting. I understand Lord Fende is your sponsor.
He was. He still is. I don't know. I have not maintained contact with him for very many weeks at this point.
It will please you to know he is well. No changes in fortune or health.
This is good news.
He and her ladyship are hoping to announce some new laws soon, but I know very little of these. But beyond that, there's no scuttlebutt that I could share.
Could I ask what your role in the court is?
I suppose not being there long, you would not understand. Myself, I have been there for a long time. But even before my time, members of the Drusillan peoples came as an honor guard for the Queen of Iona. As queens have changed and dynasties have changed at home, that treaty has been maintained regardless of political winds. And I am the commander of that guard. The guardian hand of the Queen, one might say. Men,
The title reflects the name of the dagger I was given. It is also called the Queen's Hand.
the Queen's hand is a ceremonial name. It is a dagger of rite and ritual, more than function. But he looks you over, judging by the scuffs on your belt next to your dagger. It seems you find need to draw it often.
It is quite functional.
It works.
Good. Good. But men, warriors, like John Hekla behind you, the warrior that opened the door,
Mhm.
are members of various dynastic houses sent to serve a period here to honor the contract. The treaty struck years ago.
It certainly clears up your station to me. I feel as if I have been too disrespectful, knowing that your place is so high.
I don't get caught up in such things. Were you disrespectful, I'm sure he would have said something.
Look, I do feel as if I owe you an apology. I have not brought you the additional company that you requested in the letter.
It is unfortunate. I do not often get to meet those of my home beyond the warriors that come to me.
At the risk of, again, sounding rude, I thought him to be unique with the red scales, but I see you have them too.
He holds his left hand out. Roll an insight check for me.
I'm so good at that.
First roll of the game.
13 plus nada.
Okay. So he holds his hand out and looks at it and then places it back at his side, disappearing under the cloak. I am more fortunate than some by right of birth, but has your companion told you why why those of red scale are shunned, mistreated, often mortally so.
He has been vague about the topic.
Then I will respect his wishes.
Ooh.
Miss, like, actively, like, slumps.
Oh, yeah.
It is not another's place to share another's tale. But for me, I would have had a much worse fate had it not been by right of birth. My Shell brother was the father of the current Drusillan Ra. Politics in my home are complicated. But some things are sacred, such as royal blood. And he kind of starts to stare off into the distance for a moment, and you hear a from behind you, Mist.
And he'll, like, startle a little bit as he was kind of, like, getting into the story again, and kind of startles and looks back. Yes?
And standing uncomfortably close to you, is you did not hear him approach, is Jun Ekla, the Dragonborn Knight who has been kind of shadowing you and retrieved you through this process. And he just nods no.
Yeah. To slightly change the topic, then, it is good to see. Honestly, another one of someone with one of the Drusa with red scales. It gives me hope that there might be someone like me as well who could potentially tell me what I am or who I am.
Well, that would answer my next question.
I do not know how to read thoughts yet. What was your question to be?
Of your people and your origin, but it seems you know little.
I was told that my mother dropped me off with the troop that I am no longer a part of, and I know nothing of my father, but I see my reflection of him in the moon, so I am very appreciative of the festival for that reason, nothing else.
Tonight begins the full moon, I believe. Should be a sight to see.
I am very much looking forward to it. The opening ceremonies of last night were a spectacle of their own. I cannot fathom what it would look like in its full glory.
I don't stand on ceremony much here, but I think the sky speaks for itself. Are you participating in any of the competitions?
I was taunted into participating in the quarreling. Apparently, I need to be sharpening my tongue instead of my blade.
By taunted, I believe you are referring to Taggart.
Yes, I was curious if that was the same Taggart that is supposed to be the leader here, or if that was just someone who shared his name.
There is only one Taggart here that I am aware of.
Perhaps I should not sharpen my tongue too much, then. I'd hate to be escorted from this area.
Oh, he holds no actual authority. Please, eviscerate him.
But
And
then
you see a
it will be my pleasure.
curl in the back of his. Well, thank you. Been a hard winter. Smile is always welcome.
I do hope then the results of the Corelin competition will also pique a smile from you.
Oh, there we are. There's two. Perhaps you'll do okay. Should you find yourself back in Iona again, Sir Mistlethar, please feel free to call upon me.
It would be my honor.
I could present some nicer gardens than this.
I have yet to travel anywhere that shames the beauty of Iona itself.
She is a beautiful city, and I have come to call her home.
As I'm getting the impression that the conversation is winding down.
You would be tracking the correct, polite steering of conversation.
I kind of want to do like a vibe check, just to see like he seems super cool so far just talking to him, but I want to see like if I would actually be trusting him.
Roll an insight check.
Vibe check.
Right?
Hashtag vibe check.
Ah, man. So that's a 4 total.
Okay. You haven't gotten any weird vibes, but guy's hard to read. He's been around a while, and living in a political environment, probably used to guarding himself pretty well. You're a little almost off-put by being thrown back into that kind of conversation from the free lifestyle you've been living the last few weeks.
It has been an absolute pleasure to have joined you for tea, and I apologize for not fulfilling the full wishes of your invitation. Perhaps the pheasant eating contest will be of your interest while you are in town.
I shall take note.
You sly dog.
Asshole.
I appreciate the
Smooth.
the notice. I had not attended any of the eating competitions over the last few years. Not my particular cup of tea.
Yeah, well, I can only hope that the pheasant is as pleasant to eat as the cup of tea was to drink. And I will go into that very low bow that started the whole thing.
And from the kind of edges of your vision, you see him bow back, and he bows just as lowly, just as deeply. And, taking time, the whole thing, an hour and a half across the entire experience. But as he stands back up, please Feel free to call upon me while you are here. We will be here for a few days at least. A brief respite from duty.
I will not take advantage of such an offer, but if the need arises, I will be happy to reach out. If the interest arises, that's what I should say. If the interest arises, I will be happy to reach out.
It would be my pleasure. And he raises that golden hand and gestures back towards the... You see off to the side there is a concealed slightly by some of the bushes, there is a balcony exit. And as you look that way, you see Jun Ekla standing by the exit.
These are some sneaky dudes.
Some of
Walking
them.
around all over the place.
Just super quiet. Thank you for tea.
Thank you for tea and the tales.
Be well, Sir Mistlethar, and have a wonderful festival.
And to you, Drusillin sends you. And I will take my leave.
Wunderbar.
Yo,
As you-
I did a proper court thing and didn't die.
Yay!
You haven't made it out of there yet.
You're right. That's
true.
On the gun.
on that note,
Saw the opening episode of Hooters.
as you descend down the stairs with Jun Ekla behind you,
Roll initiative.
just roll a new character. No.
You hear the rains of Castamere.
Was your friend uncomfortable joining you?
I believe uncomfortable to be an adequate word for his response, yes?
Noted.
It is something along the lines of trust being earned, not freely given.
A wise philosophy.
Mistlethar looks kind of sheepish at that, since he just kind of brazenly walked headfirst into this.
He looks at you for a moment. There's that awkward pause where you're waiting for him to say something, and then he turns around and walks back.
Yeah.
That was fun, I guess. I'll just walk off into town.
So, Sir Mistlethar, you've got a few hours left throughout the afternoon as everybody else is engaging in different endeavors. Is there anything in particular you wish to seek out, or just to enjoy the sights and sounds?
Since this is where the fighting ring is this also where the training was happening?
No, that would be on the next level down.
Okay. So walking down, since I'd be headed that direction anyway. When I get to the training area, I would try to pay attention to see if anyone matches the style of dance that I danced with the other night.
Gotcha. Looking out across this huge ring, there are sword dummies set off to one side, and various groups of people sparring throughout the circle, and you see, very similar to what Kai saw the day before, there are There's almost a rhythm or ritual to the way people are moving around the circle, taking a few minutes at the dummy, taking a few minutes in the circle, trading out. But it's very easy to see very quickly some people are here to posture and to be seen, and some people are not. You are used to seeing performers, and you see lots of people performing. Additionally, coming away from the training dummy after his most recent bout with his quarterstaff is Kai. Do you wish to engage at all, or you see him across the circle?
Oh yeah, if I would continue looking for this other person first, but then absolutely.
No one seems to be within the circle moving in that similar way.
Kai! Hello. It is good to see you.
I sheath my quarterstaff and I walk over. Mistletoe, how was your engagement? I don't know the word.
Strange. But welcome in. He poured me tea. We talked. He said to call on him again in the next several days while he is here, or we could call on him if we are ever in Iona.
So this is one of the good nobles that Jubei said sometimes exist.
I have not known many not good nobles. Of course, I've only really met 3 at this point. I think. So, I guess I am lucky.
Perhaps. I have not met any, so who knows?
Do I? You've met me?
Oh, you are a noble! I did not know this.
I don't. I have a title. I think that makes me a noble.
I don't have to treat you differently, do I?
I don't believe so. I don't treat anybody differently.
Okay, good.
You're welcome to call me Sir Mistletoe if you'd like.
I'm not going to do that.
I expected this much.
From just a little bit off to the right, you hear... Yeah, that lads. He's a knight.
Far in the distance, Reese is growling.
It's actually thunder.
Yeah.
It is strange to be laughed at. The quarreling is not until another 2 days. And I did not believe I've said anything funny before then.
No,
Guy, was that funny?
Perhaps they have, how you say, smooth brain.
Ha! 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 You should do quarreling too.
I didn't say that particularly, like, quietly, by the way.
That's why I'm about to roll to see if they heard.
Oh, that's good.
What'd she say to me? I got a what?
Now, what rhymes with brain?
Hmm.
I'm like completely ignoring this guy. Just... You said smooth brain, maybe down the drain?
Ah, you're good at this. I look forward to hearing you.
And the gentleman that has started walking towards you is in training leathers with a slim-fitted black leather glove on his right hand. And a long, thin blade on his hip, and a buckler of wood, training implement. You want to back those words up, or are you just gonna keep running your mouths and piss off?
I'm sorry, I was under the impression that you said something to my friend. Is that not what happened? I look at Missile Star. Am I misunderstanding?
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry, I wasn't talking to you.
So Mistlethor is having one of these moments where he's like, I really want something to happen. I need something to happen right now. It has I want it bad enough, and it's going to make people laugh. And the mage hand will so as a bonus action untie this guy's belt.
Yes.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check for me because mage hand is visible.
It's actually invisible.
It's invisible. So as a arcane trickster, my mage hand is invisible.
That's right, you are an arcane trickster.
But it is a sleight of hand check to do these things.
So
I'm gonna use my inspiration point on that.
Worth.
Those important rolls. So that turns it to from a 6 to an 18.
Nice.
much better.
A little bit better.
So there's this moment where this duelist is. You can almost watch the calculations in their look as they're looking back and forth between the two of you gleefully and menacingly. And then there's a ow! As the wooden buckler weighting down the hilt of his rapier smacks right into his foot. And the small little gaggle of clearly folks from Fordale, from the sisters, they're all wearing gloves. That single duelist glove. They all bust out laughing.
Perhaps instead of down the drain, it was put in pain. That was a good one, Kai.
So he scrambles down. You son of a... How did that even... I'll see you in a ring. And just blood red. With embarrassment.
Everyone here, so much bluster. I do not understand.
I don't know what is happening, but that is the second time that I have wanted something very badly, and it has happened. I like it. I like these.
I've heard of this. The speakers growing up around my home, they call this manifesting.
Well, I am manifesting them. Perhaps you could teach me more of this as we walk. Were you going somewhere?
I look at the field, and I look at everyone kind of watching me out of the corner of their eyes, and I'm like, yes, I think it's time I go.
And I would just be poking you every step of the way so manifesting, eh? Tell me more about these things.
So, Reese, over the course of the day, a very excited and bubbly Sandy starts sharing with you how to distill the damfoil mushrooms. And, oh, is this your little friend?
I just set her down on the table.
And Sandy full on
I love it. It's so
I know
cute.
that, and I look around and make sure that there's no one else in the store at the moment. Or I guess we're probably behind.
Yeah, you're in the back.
So you mentioned a bit about the Kestrelvix, the strange creatures. Have you ever seen one like this?
No. Is this... it doesn't have antlers?
Can you make antlers? This look between the two.
And before your eyes, as Lux is looking at you, there's a kind of a glow almost internally from Lux, almost like their aura emanating from within, and their skin goes, or their corporeal form goes ever so slightly translucent and as the light flares just ever so slightly and subsides, there is a small white barn owl sitting there.
Okay, well, you ruined it because I don't have a barn owl stuffed animal.
And the owl just goes at you.
So, Yubei owes me some money. You do fly.
Now you turn into an owl.
Yeah. You waited till now.
Maybe he has nothing to prove either.
Well, I was going to say something about this little fox, but apparently also an owl. I would also... I like pet Lux. Probably best to not do that in public. Let's keep it quiet.
And you hear or feel in your head, Jubei cries foul. You hear in your head or feel almost this core emotion of predator ?
Yes. In fact, there might be a predator here that we need to watch out for.
And there's that pulse begins, and over the course of just a moment, the fox returns.
Probably best to stay a fox for now. But I do appreciate the trick.
And
Anyways, look back at Sandy.
And the whistle returns.
I imagine by now I've gotten pretty good at whistling right back. And then, so Sandy, have you ever seen one?
No. Fascinating.
But this is Lux.
Yes.
We, found
yes, you
her.
are.
She found me. We found each other. And I imagine she just goes up to Sandy and does the cat rubbing up against the legs and stuff.
Oh, aren't you just the cutest? And Sandy proceeds to loving on Lux a little bit.
Of course.
I was supposed to show you something.
Yes, healing potion.
Yeah, so grab that basket from over there. She points at a basket of the damp well mushrooms, and when you pick it, you're immediately hit with a smell. A smell of rot. There you go.
Doesn't fit on the table.
The smell of rot just assaults you immediately.
Oh, from that cave.
There you go. And looking at the damphole mushrooms, that luster is gone. It is a dull, faded blue, and you can see where it's starting to wilt underneath the caps. They don't last long once they're picked, so...
Yeah, you mentioned as much. They don't look good.
She kind of flips one over, and you see how the rings here are starting to kind of blur and fade out into the rest of the material. It's kind of pointing at the coloration. So that's how you know it's ready, or ripe, so to say. And she grabs another one, and you see this one. The rings are still concentric, so they're not ready yet.
Reese pulls out a tiny little journal and starts taking notes.
So 2 of these ought to be enough for one, but we're working in bulk today. So she grabs a dozen of these damphole mushrooms and throws them in a pot. And begins grabbing various herbs and some medicinal plants that you're familiar with that you see around the shop. And through the course of the day, begins distilling it. And so what you learn is that it will take you 8 hours of work to create a healing potion. The damphole mushrooms will accommodate basically 25 gold worth of material. The rest of the required materials are fairly mundane. And it takes you basically a solid day's work to distill. But the key ingredient is the Zamfwell mushroom.
And I think she mentioned it to me once, but they can be found in other places too, right? It's not just like a localized...
They can, but they are not common by any means.
Right. But I could at least find them on travel.
Like, that is the only place that she has found them anywhere within a day's travel.
Right.
And she is careful about cultivating the colony so that...
we don't want to grab them all.
Yeah, like so you don't grab them all.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So you learn how to make healing potions.
Probably throughout the time, or maybe like during this process, once we get in like the swing of making something. I imagine we're making a whole bunch at once.
Yes.
I probably quietly mention. So we mentioned before, and we talked about it, and I hope it's okay to talk about, but the idea of magic.
And
like he's really reserved, and like this is like the quietest he's ever been.
She freezes and like looks around and goes and looks out the window and closes the curtain, and not that would do a damn bit of good, but looks out in the shop and there's nobody there. And
hey, Lux, can you keep an eye out for us? And she perks and whistles and.
I don't know much myself. I'm mostly good with herbs and healing.
I mean, me as well, but I don't know much at all. I always thought it was stories.
Me too. But one day I healed my mom after she had a fall, and she just recovered so fast. I didn't really know what to think. And she's like anxiety, like actively fidgeting.
I am gonna put a hand out on her hand and like just a little squeeze. Trust me, you're safe with me and in my company, and your secret's safe with me. I'm the last person to tell anybody. From where I'm from, it is something dangerous that people seek for the wrong reason.
Judging by your accent and the rest of the Flossern folk out there, I can imagine you don't talk about it much either.
No. In fact, it's a bit hard to talk about even with my companion. It's hard to find people that understand.
It's not like it's bad or anything. I wouldn't even know how to hurt anybody, but I can just do little things.
I mean, little things are great, and taken in small steps. Nothing wrong with it.
And the kettle starts whistling in the corner, almost conspicuously on cue. I should get that.
I just let it pass. Fair enough.
So, have you seen the Vix anymore?
No, I don't think so. Not after we returned from looking for someone.
No, I heard about.
I thought we saw it.
Word travels fast amongst the locals. I heard about the cave
Oh, yeah. That was
That's wild.
interesting.
It's so sad about Edwin, but Zane said something about trying to just keep an eye on it, and that some of the boys would take a look after the festival or something.
I wouldn't worry about causing a panic or anything, but it gave me pause for sure. Those tunnels go on for quite a bit.
Yeah, we there are tunnels all underneath us, but they're all cultivated and I don't know, the gas from the ground. It's what causes the lights, and it's what heats the vents and the pools around here and keeps the ground warm even in the winter.
So, just a reminder for me, when we saw the hole that went down and farther into the cave, that was the biggest we'd ever seen. Going
so
down.
thus far you had not actually seen any sort of tunnel,
right?
Let alone worked stone. Because
okay,
this
and that one was
smooth worked stone.
Right.
You could see the lines of where bricks had been laid in. Bricks like freaking boulder-sized bricks.
Right.
But that being the only one you had seen, you don't really have like a frame of reference.
Gotcha.
The other times you have seen or heard of some sort of geothermal activity was in the cave where you found the mushrooms, because there was a jet in the pool underneath that cave, where hot air bubbled out very quickly into the surrounding water.
Mm-hmm.
And then the geothermal pockets that you passed one of them on the way into town, but there was no water or vapor as evident other than like a low fog. Right. And then you know that there are hot springs in town, but that's about it.
Then I'm going to keep my mouth shut and not try to scare. Because Reese is over here like thinking the worst.
Because Reese.
Monsters living in, under our feet. Do I get any healing potions myself out of this? Because I have a couple of mushrooms. Oh, no, I don't. Never mind, I gave them all to...
Yeah, the only person who took mushrooms was Mist.
I have all of them.
Okay. That's fair.
But just a reminder, the deal was she paid you for them when you retrieved them, a considerable amount. And it was kind of understood that this is part of how the town pays for the tournament kind of thing.
No, absolutely.
But then any of the potions or tonics, tinctures that are not used during the tournament are then available for sale.
Right. Noted. Cool.
And isn't Mess keeping those poison mushrooms kind of next to his heart attack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suspiciously.
Yep.
What could go wrong?
Then,
everything.
I will help her finish up working with get as much as I can done during the day, and then probably head out before dinner. And for the first time in Reese's life, he has money. And the first thing he's going to do is he's going to go to a vendor and buy a sweet, some kind of a pastry.
Okay.
And just pay for the whole thing in a gold coin.
Just a gold coin.
He doesn't have change, so it's just a gold coin.
The woman managing the little stand there, it was like the last one she had. She only made a small batch today. Thanks!
Please keep it. Thank you.
Small batch pastries.
You notice, when you put it on there and don't ask for change, she doesn't bring it up.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And just tucks it in her pocket.
He knows the drill. And then he'll split it in half and toss a piece to Lux. And then just probably walk and find a quiet place to sit and watch people.
Okay. Selu. At a certain point of your own wanderings and making notes about the various flowers and designs here, Vizila's long gone. At this point, it's been several hours. You look up and it's like you blinked and the sun is starting to set.
Honestly, the vast majority of the time spent was sitting on the cliff, just feeling the winds. For the first time in a hot minute, going through and undoing all of the braids that have been in their hair for a long time. Undoing all of them, loosening all of their draped clothing down and unfurling everything and just letting the wind blow around them and feeling the moment and just like in that 100%, like the afternoon is gone before they even realize like what has happened.
Wonderful.
They will stand up, their hair completely undone and down just in a tight curled trellis of blonde at the moment. Not blonde, sorry, brown hair. And will kind of wander their way back toward the inn, but just kind of wherever something interesting leads them as they go. Haphazardly wandering as far as that's concerned.
Roll a d6 for me.
Hey, that's a G spot.
Yeah. You find yourself kind of haphazardly wandering and find yourself on the summit. The very top level of these hillside or cliffside levels of the city. And kind of wandering through the forest there, and as the sun is setting, or the gardens rather, as the sun is setting and the aurora begins to take full form, and before the sun has even completely set, Nias, the second moon, is beginning to rise, and there's a blink almost in the amount of time it takes. But as the aurora begins to light the sky, you swear all of the flowers exhale. Like this held, patient, bated breath. As the sun fades and the moon, bright and vibrant blue, rises in the sky. The auroras begin to take shape in their teals and greens. And it's as if the land around you, the grass is beginning to stand a little taller from where it had been bent over. It is as if the world, the earth, the ground, and plants around you are sighing in relief.
Well, I had thought to find my friends, but I'll find them eventually. And Selu goes and plants themselves like right in the middle of like the intersection of all of the gardens, where they could like look at everything and have full view of that, and just sits again right in the middle of whatever's going on, trying to be at the center of it.
After 3 or 4 minutes of sitting and enjoying this space, there is a gust of wind that almost rolls this aurora effect across your vision. And as a bit of the steam from one of the geothermal vents fades across, you see a pair of copper eyes in one of the gardens looking towards you. And as your vision focuses in and the rest of the aurora kind of fades away slightly, there is a large white and gray lupine creature with antlers coming out of their head.
What you gonna do?
I'll kind of meet eyes with them.
The dolphin.
And just try and take a moment to gauge if anyone else, if there's, I'm assuming if the aurora is starting up, other people are up here as well. So
Yes, you are not alone.
right. Gauge whether or not anyone else seems to notice, and try and like watch it for a moment without moving or anything to try and see like if someone wanders close, if it seems to care, or if it's ready to bolt, or if it's just, I guess, trying to like insight what is
Sure.
going on with this thing.
As you see the families and individuals, lovers, couples coming up to the summit to enjoy the lights, this beautiful, almost day bright blue light raining down from Nias, or shining is a better word. No one seems to notice the Kestrel Vix. People walk near-ish to that garden, but you swear that there's always something in the way for somebody else to see it. And it is looking directly at you. Hard, non-threatening, but hard stare directly at you.
Let's see. What? I will stand and wander my way towards the garden, not heading directly towards it, just kind of towards the garden in general, but keeping an eye on how it's reacting as I do so.
As you're kind of snaking your way towards it, there's a definite tracking of your movements. Its head is staying directly focused at you. And at one point, you are walking, and it looks like this couple is about to walk right in front of you. What do you do?
How far away from it and the gardens are I? Am I? Whatever.
40-ish feet.
Do it.
Like, they're just passing in front of me, or
Yeah, it just there's this moment where your eye line is going to be broken.
oh, this is not how I was expecting this to happen.
Oh boy. Those are my favorite words.
Oh, this is so opposite of how everything I wanted to do this with Sailor. Oh, that's way too big to do that in the middle of people. I can't.
No thunderclap.
No.
Oh my god.
It's up to you.
I can't do that.
curiosity.
Selu stops for a minute, and for the briefest moment, the grass and plants on the ground around these people like start to move towards them. Just ever so slightly, and like it catches Selu off guard, and they stop, and it like jars them for a moment, and like as soon as they stop, everything settles back down and they pass in front.
And predictably, as they pass in front of you, there is a kind of a steam and a mist wafting away from where you saw the Kestrel Vix.
You goofed.
Well, giving a sigh, still continue on towards the garden. Just kind of look around the area. Not expecting to find anything more, but looking nonetheless.
Okay. You find the impression of where a creature had sat, but nothing more.
I will sit in their spot and
Okay.
observe from there instead.
You feel the butt warmth?
Just ever so slightly.
Just looking for a warm spot to sit, okay?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So close.
I was so close to dropping a spell.
I thought
in
you were
the
gonna
middle.
do
it. No, I can't. There's too much going through Selu's head right now. I couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
I could not. No. They're
Awesome.
worried. They're worried about too much.
Mm-hmm.
Bill.
Who's Bill?
Excuse me. Jubei. That's what happens when you've been my best friend forever. Jubei.
Yeah, see, like he's even immortalized you in art.
Yeah. Oh. So, Jubei, we discussed a little bit last time and a little off screen what's going on. Is there anything you would like to add?
Yeah, pretty much Juve like working the bellows in between with I can't remember, was he a dwarf?
No.
He was human? Yeah, no, he was one-legged.
Yep. Mikhail.
So it's like so once you have the batter the right way, you place the bread in with a little bit of cinnamon. You cook it with butter and with a really really hot pan. It is the perfect toasted bread. You put a little bit of syrup on it. Your wife would love it.
I think the only time he talks too much is food.
Yeah, is food. So the roll that you had last time, that natural 20 with your contribution and adding your breath weapon to the process. Yes, even while he forges, Jubei cooks. Mikhail and his son are almost in this rhythm, and the forge montage from every action film ever.
Montage!
The opening of the Dwarven Forge commercial.
There you go. You almost fall into this rhythm with Mikhail, and you see that this is not his first time working a blade. He mentioned briefly that he had done so before, but has not gone into detail. At one point, his son brings over food and sets it down, and occasionally Mikhail will reach over and grab a roll and shove it in his mouth, like in between hammer strikes.
Is it good food?
It's peasant food.
Oh.
So, no. But there's this moment of do I keep this going? Do I help or do I cook? And there's that moment of decision.
Right now, I'm sitting here and I'm working the bellows. That's my job. It's like,
All right.
ye old son holding a flashlight. Because
There's a strange sense of curiosity from the neighbors as they walk by. They're not, the sun is down, the festival lights, the aurora is bright in the sky, but Mikhail's still at his forge, still working. And while you work late and even later into the night, this rhythm doesn't stop. There's times where he says, grab that powder, throw it on the blade, refill the bucket of water, the well's right there. And he's talking to you and talking to his son. I'm using the wrong voice. Talking to you and talking to his son and just giving direction as if a forge master would. There's a moment, Jubei being who he is, where you see a craftsman at his trade. Recognizing someone doing the thing that they are good at. The rest of you, the moon is high in the sky and the day is coming to an end. Is there anything else you would like to accomplish through the end of the day?
Mist would be taking his spot at the top of the bleacher section cut out in the wall to be as close to the moon as possible.
That's right.
Top section.
Okay.
I know that Mist is going to be there, and so I want to try and bring dinner from our inn up to him.
Okay. Doable. There's a moment where Clover says, "Is Misselthar not coming to the stage tonight?"
He's I can talk to him. He's up on the summit.
Oh, well, I don't blame him. It's pretty up there.
Yeah,
But-
we're looking forward to the full moon, but I might be able to convince him to come down for a show.
Well, if he wants, there's a few folks that asked about him. Teclin wants to hear one of his stories again for sure, but Telflin, excuse me. But no big deal either way. Just if he wants it, the stage is here. We got a few instrumentalists over there, and then that lazy bum who's just gonna drink. But otherwise, he's got the option.
There's this brief moment where Reese almost mentions that he can play an instrument and decides not to.
I'm here for it.
And just takes the food. Well, thank you. I'll let you know what he says.
Okay. Awesome.
Going up. And I probably don't say anything to Miss. Just set the bowl down next to you.
So those of you who wish to spend time enjoying the lights and maybe picnicking at the top of the bleachers or whatever it is you wish to do, you are welcome to. If there's anything in particular you would like to accomplish, please feel free to say so.
Mist is actively burning this view into his mind.
He's actually actively what?
Burning this view into his mind. The fullness of the moon, the darkness of the sky behind it, the lights in front of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Reese is just resting for the rest of the day.
So eventually, you all find yourselves to sleep. The first day of the festival bringing a certain excitement, calm, not overwhelming, but excited energy to the day. Lots of I don't want to call them loose ends, but personal activities and filling your time. It's pleasant. It's comforting. And as the morning breaks over the darkness, you all begin to wake. As the second day, being the 12th of Thaist, begins. Now, today, Kai is scheduled for his first bout in the tournament. And there's various other activities if those of you wish to participate, but breakfast is served along with dirty bean water and tea for the rest of you in the great room. Jubei.
I was about to say, I'm probably not there, right?
No. After a night of labors and pushing the bellows and even taking a turn holding the blade and rotating it as told, following a rhythm that you have seen Mikhail's son do, with the combination of beautiful rolls that were made, you managed to complete your project. It is to your specifications. Mikhail sets down and is utterly exhausted, like a man coming out of a trance. Just, where did the day go? Oh my god, I'm filthy and covered in soot. I've got a burn mark on my arm and just exhausted. Oh, it's been a while since I've done that. Whew.
You look to enjoy it. Maybe you should make more.
He reaches down and unbuckles the peg at his severed limb and rubs right around the knee where the leather fasteners wrap around. I think I'm gonna take the day and relax.
Oh, I don't mean now. I mean in
And
the future, maybe.
Looks up at his son. Yeah, I'll make sure the orders are done today. Thanks. You're not so bad at this, you know.
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I need dough a lot.
Fair. Rhythm, repetition.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Bread and swords.
That's what you do with hot metal, right? You roll it with your hands,
Flatten
slap
it.
it down.
Yep.
Just killer forearm strength.
And giant calluses. That, right, the hilt. He reaches over and grabs the bit of leather that was brought over, and
You said the tailor.
yeah, his son had brought that piece over, so and begins stitching the leather of the handle on.
The embroidery work. Would you be able to do that, or do I need to go see the tailor?
And per the conversation from the previous day, it is not expertly done, as it was a rush job, but the design you requested is in the... There is a crude and simple but functional leather scabbard, as requested.
That was the important part. The incorporating Navarra's hair into the stitching and into the embroidery work. So,
And as you run your hand along the stitch line, it feels like horsehair.
Okay. In the grip. I thank him. I paid him. You enjoy your day.
That's a fine gift, friend.
A fighter or a warrior need to carry a blade they're proud of. Something personal.
You know, someone told me that once a long time ago.
Was laugh at that? Oh, were they Drusen?
No. No. They were a Jarl. He kind of looks a little wistful at the memory. But you have yourself a fine day, friend.
You too.
Find your way back anytime.
If you're ever in the Lighten, if you find your way up to the Lighten bed, and you talk to Clover, have a drink on me. Just tell him to charge it to Jubei.
Take you up on that tonight.
You and your son. They have really good bacon.
Count on it.
Smells a little bit like Potberry
Bacon.
Pony.
And holding your gifts, just with a simple bit of cloth wrapped around it. The day is yours.
Well, I'm heading to the baths. Like, that's the first thing.
Awesome. So there is a bath on the ground level that is much simpler than some of the others, but you are able to bathe as the rest of you find your way to breakfast.
And Jubei never made it home last night.
Back
Hey,
in
that-
back in
Yeah.
proper fashion, Selu enters the room before anybody else is awake, carrying a tray of coffee and juice.
This kid again.
Good morning.
This freaking kid. Love it.
Clothes and whatnot are back into their typical travel fashion, more tightened. Hair still currently down and loose in long trellises.
So, in atypical fashion, Mist is still asleep when Selu comes in with breakfast, and I'm assuming Kai and Reese, you all are also asleep at this point.
Yeah, probably waking up groggily.
So Selu, you would see just before Mist kind of stirs and wakes himself from whatever dream he was having, you would see cast across the other side of the room the same image from last night of the blue moon, the aurora in front of it, the black background, as in his dream he has cast minor illusion across the room to project his dream onto the wall.
Beautiful.
What type of dream?
That's rad.
Rad.
Well done.
Why is Reese wearing chaps?
So Selu comes in,
It's a dream about the moon, Jubei!
starts announcing everything, and just stops in mid-sentence and just takes a moment, sets the tray down, sits on the bed, and watches the image for a few minutes. Actually sits down on Reese's bed and like shoves his shoulder a little bit.
What is it?
Have a look. And nods over
And just
towards.
speechless.
And Mist is sleeping with just this huge smile on his face. But as noise starts to happen, he starts to move and rubs his eyes, and the vision or the image just vanishes.
Good morning.
It is strange to see Reese of all people awake before me.
I smelled the coffee.
Oh, right. Right. Goes back and grabs the tray and brings it over to everybody. Pleasant dreams last night.
Mine were beautiful. It was as if the moon was still with me. It was
We
hard to
could
leave
tell.
the summit. But What's that supposed to mean?
I make sure the door is closed and like no one. You were doing the and I like do a little illusion in my hand, like with some magic, like I don't know how to explain it, but you're doing magic in your sleep, but you're doing it.
You're doing it, Peter.
So that could probably be troublesome.
Yeah.
I should not hope to do that in my sleep.
On the one hand, yes, but on the other, I feel like you could take some great use out of it. It's a useful trick.
And like Mist is gonna jump up cross-legged on the bed and just stare intently at the wall. Be like, I want it to happen. I want it to happen.
Oh,
Currently being unsuccessful.
perhaps with some
I
practice.
figured it out.
Awesome.
Sailor brings a cup of coffee over to Kai. You ready for your bout today?
Yes, but I do not want that.
It's becoming a thing that just Reese drinks all of the coffee now.
Wait, has Kai not been drinking the coffee?
No.
Oh, I was thinking I thought everybody was, but Mist and I. Well, if that's the case, then Sailor would have brought you a juice instead of a coffee.
One of the carryovers in every one of my characters is that Derek hates coffee, and so characters also hate coffee. But yeah, thank you. I'll take the juice gladly. I do not know what to expect. What happens will happen. I do not know how I will measure up. But it will be a learning experience, I'm sure.
From what I've seen of you, I feel like it'll be pretty good.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Would you like us to spectate? Or would you prefer us not to watch? I do not want you to be subconscious while you fight.
I would love to have your support, sure.
Well, then we'll be there.
But if you have other things you wish to do, please, feel free.
I look at Lux. Do you have plans today?
Perhaps
You
changing
just
to
get
an
a-
owl?
No, we're good.
You get up. Back.
No, we're good.
It seems
Awesome.
outside of trying to paint this wall, I do not have plans.
Literally watching paint dry.
My life right now.
I do have a question. We spoke briefly in the woods about magic. I know that I gestured down at the constellations tattooed on my chest. I know that these tend to glow when I fight.
They do.
Is this something I should hide?
Reese gets real awkward. Well, where I'm from, it is not a good thing to do magic. I'm not sure about people here.
No, but I don't do magic. I just light up a little bit.
Reese rolls his eyes.
Yes, well, I've
Sure.
been claiming that for a bit now too, but that doesn't.
I think it's fair to say
necessarily
all of
make
us
it
do magic.
True, I don't think.
Even Jubei with his food.
That's a
But no,
different
I
kind
don't-
of magic. I don't understand it. It's
Sorcery.
perhaps the most powerful magic amongst us.
But no,
I would
I don't.
agree.
I don't do magic.
It's called MSG.
Oh no!
And garlic salt.
What level spell is that?
It's a cantrip for Jubei.
Summon MSG. We need a fan artist to do Jubei doing the Salt Bay.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I'm here for it. Make that Jubei's official artwork.
Well, Kai, if I were, can you control that, the lights and the when you fight?
No.
Then perhaps I like look around and like I have like my tiny little like poncho, but like on Reese it's like big, but looking at Kai it's like that won't fit.
Does Kai wear anything? Is he like? Does he have a shirt, or is he totally like He-Manning the nipples?
So no, if you look at his art on Astral, it's very similar to that. He's got like it goes over one shoulder, but most of his chest is bare.
And not like furry bear, like.
No, not like Rob.
Calm down, Bill.
Now you done it. Now you done it.
You just want to rub your fingers to it.
No pets.
It's turning into a very different game, guys.
And the GM steps in. So, you.
Hold on, sorry. Like, and on a more serious note, there, I would never request you to hide anything of yourself, but it will almost certainly draw notice. So it depends
on if that's what you want.
What you want, right?
I do not know what happened. I mean, they see the glow and they say, "Oh, look at that Outlander," just like they always do.
Then perhaps for you it won't be a problem.
I think to bring honor to yourself, you should fight to the best of your abilities. If that involves glowing, then glow away.
Just do you glow?
You speak through, Miss Lothar.
Go ahead and glow up.
Glow up.
Wow.
No.
So,
Alright.
Hashtag glow up.
as the morning rises and you begin to hear the sounds of the town in the background, awake and loud,
Dear
Yeah.
Lord.
different tracks, man.
Not enough coffee.
Yeah. The town is ahead of you. The lists, as Taggart informed you the day prior, will be posted, so you will know who your opponent is, but you are roughly midday. So if there's anything in particular you would like to do before then, Jubei, you have bathed at this point and been able to grab some food if you wanted to.
Okay. I take it I'm exhausted. Do I have a level of exhaustion yet?
You, in fact, do have a level of exhaustion.
So, even though I'm bathed in food, I will walk right into the room
Oh, hey, we're just leaving.
and walk straight to my bed and is like,
Very well.
Fair enough.
I just slide what's left of the tray over, like next to the bed, like you keep like a bowl, and then I just take another sip of coffee and put it back. And
and then
go.
Jubei will remember, Kai, do you fight today?
Yes, at midday.
Do you know yet? Who? And what with?
I believe another polearm fighter like me.
Well, I do not know how this tournament will work if you have one fight a day or two. It was last minute, and normally I would try to get together a ceremony, but here, and I hand him the wrapped up bundle. This is for you.
What is? Do you want me to give this to somebody? What?
No, this is yours. It is like I carry mine. It's personal to me, and I pat my katana, and this one is made for you, and it has part of Navarra worked into it.
I like very reverently like unwrap it, and I'm totally speechless, looking at it for a minute.
I will let Gabe describe it because I said, you know,
You sure?
yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay.
You knew what I was making, so
So, a long blade with a gentle curve in it. Imagine a Mongolian style broadsword. Can be mechanically, you have a longsword. However, single bladed, this long sweeping edge that looks as if it was clearly designed to be worked from horseback. The handle kicks back out ever so slightly, and the soft buckskin wrapping around the handle has a embroidery in it that, as you run your hand across it, it feels like horsehair. And as you run your hand down the very simple back scabbard, it feels like horsehair. It is an exquisitely made blade. There is a simple maker's mark at the bottom of it. Reese, roll a perception check.
Oh boy.
I will post the inspiration for this in the Thrayne chat.
Wonderful.
That is a 16.
Okay. At the bottom of it, there is a little L and a circle, almost like a halo, that's settled down amongst it, like it orbits around the L. Something about that strikes as familiar, but you're not. It's kind of hard to place.
Okay.
The blade itself is for the amazing rolls that went into it. Mechanically, it is just a plain longsword. However, it is a masterwork. It is a thing of beauty.
So Kai's like standing there speechless, and then I look back at like the rest of the people in the room, and I say, a moment, please. And then I like gesture towards the door. I don't remember who it was. Was it just Reese that was in there, or had you guys left already?
I don't think anybody had necessarily left yet.
Get the fuck out!
Mist finally gives up painting the wall, puts on his common clothes.
We'll try again tonight. Come on.
Selu has spent the last bit like re-braiding and tightening their hair back down, kind of absent-mindedly, a little bit checked out elsewhere, but happily agrees to leave as well.
Once everybody exits, I turn back to Jubei, and I say, you honor me greatly.
You are a great fighter, and you have a lot of heart, and you need to know that. I don't know where you come from, and I don't know the story. I know you speak of these black hands as if there's something bad, and it's not who you are. You're very honorable. I can see that.
I have very little to honor you back with, but I do have one thing I wish to give you.
You give me the greatest thing in the world. That's friendship.
Yo.
Well, something in my culture that's very valuable to us, I would like to give you. My full name. And then I kneel, place the blade off to the side, say, my name is Kai Ajerai Narunzan. And I would like you to have this.
Well, Yubei smiles, big toothy reptilian smile. Then I shall give you my true name. It is something I don't speak very often after leaving my homeland. Sojun is not my name. It is the station is a title. It is Wanderer, or a knight without a liege, if in the common tongue. But and Jubei bows at the waist. I am Jubei Chari Ternak.
Kai stands and he's got like visible tears streaming down his face, unashamed. He says, "Then you have honored me double today." And then I put my arm out.
Do the bro handshake.
Yeah,
Y'all
yeah,
don't
right.
hug.
The warrior grip.
Love it.
No, if you do not mind, I am going to sleep.
Sleep well.
And with that,
My friend.
friends, we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Kai, please add a longsword to your inventory for now.
For now.
And until somebody steals it, I don't know. And you have to hunt them down and kill their whole family. But,
Well, maybe this time you won't have to like golf bag it during a fight.
You need a caddy.
so,
What shall it be today, sir?
I feel like the broadsword today. I feel cheeky.
And on that note, we'll be back here in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I just made a paladin character.
Take us away, Jacob.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
And welcome back. We're gonna pick up.
Hey.
We're gonna pick up right back from where we left off right before the break, with the door closing behind Kai, as Kai steps into the hall and Jubei has collapsed on his bed. You all see Kai joining you, holding this bundle, this long sword that he has now.
We gotta go through that scene all over again?
No.
I kind of look like I don't know what to do. I'm holding it like awkwardly, like away from my body, just kind of like looking at it, like.
Well, the strap that I specifically wanted made, you should be able to wear it on your back and draw it from your back.
Excellent.
Ooh, nice. It's got that like clasp.
Love it.
That is very pretty, but if you will be walking to the hotel, you should probably put it away.
Oh, right. Yes. You. I like shrug my current like quiver off. Like clatters on the ground. Put the blade on. And then I like fiddle with the quiver for a minute, and then I slide it back into the room, and I put it back on. I slide some stuff back into the room, and then I put it back on. And it's just my glaive and my
Gotcha.
my shield that are back there now.
While they're talking, Gabe, I imagine it's not the first time I've done this, but I'm going to pull out the book of Lostran heraldry and just thumb through it really quickly, looking for, one, that symbol that was on the sword, and two, looking for you-know-who's symbol.
Good you know who, or bad you know who, or
Probably both.
went south you know who.
So,
Probably both.
sorry to interrupt real quick, but I looked everywhere with my 4-year-old to see if we had a stuffed owl. But we do not. We do have a stuffed owl bear.
I have an owl there too.
I love it.
I'll find an owl. and have
Make
that
a quick investigation check for me with your book of heraldry.
Nice. 17 plus nothing. 17.
Okay. You flip through, and the only two names that you are aware. There's a Jarl whose last name is Una, who doesn't have a coat of arms, but is listed as an honorific Jarl. At least at the time of writing, she was set to inherit what would be considered like a duchy, and would inherit that duchy's coat of arms.
Okay.
But at the time, there is nothing next to her name.
I make a mental note of whatever that one is.
That would be a simple kite shield.
Mm-hmm.
With a boar in it.
Cool.
Boar is an animal or boar is in whole?
Animal.
And then you said there was another one?
The other that sticks out to you is Josef Kellner, or Jarl Kellner. His family, there is actually a very large listing for his family. The Kellner clan, or lineage. And his heraldry is a shield with crossed swords. But the crossed swords are pointed down.
Okay.
With a 17, you do, as you're flipping through, you actually see one of the swords that is listed as, like, this is the blade of such and such, the king, yada, 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 and it's got that same maker's mark on it.
Noted.
And you remember seeing that maker's mark one other time.
And the crossing.
in the crossing.
Mother
Lem-
Fletcher.
Lemon Farm Ferry.
Okay. Mental notes. Then I'll wait for Kai to come back out.
Okay.
So do you want to go check the list and see who you're fighting against?
Is that something I should do? I will not know him either way.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe we would know them. I'm not sure. I don't know a whole lot.
Sure.
What's on the list? Jubei.
Surprise!
Alright, Suga!
Yeah, I believe Taggart mentioned there would be like a list in the morning.
Yes,
Yep.
the list is posted at the circle on the floor.
Then yeah, I'll head that way.
Awesome.
I
The
put my head up.
group kind of meandering that direction.
I will be your troubadour.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so as people like came out into the hallway, Selu was probably like over by a window, kind of looking out over everything, still continuing to like rebraid the like triple dreadlock like tight, like lemonade braid kind of look back around into the trellises. Everything else still bundled up behind, but just like slowly working at that, pulling tight and just kind of just seems kind of elsewhere at the moment. But when everybody else gathers up, pulls things across, continues to braid on the walk, deft fingers, looking like they've done it a million times.
Wonderful. So as you step out into... There we go. As you step out into the steppe, it is alive with people. There are jugglers out there warming up and getting ready to perform. There are vendors setting up their stalls, and you smell the meats being cooked and breads being baked, and there's a faint smell of a honey on the air as you see Telflin Teclis setting up his booth, and his clearly making sure his wares made the trip appropriately. And fading ever so slightly in the sky is that blue, green, and teal aurora. Still visible from the night before, and just ever so slightly fading as the day continues.
I like elbow mist and like point up, even during the day.
He watches everything, or every day. The mist is just a bigger hint for those who have not paid attention.
Probably.
Making your way down to the floor, passing the carriers bringing goods up and down the switchback levels, you find the large circle carved into the town square at the floor level. And there, with two uprights and boards run between, is a series of parchments. And a small crowd gathered around them. And the gentleman you met the day before, Taggart, standing amongst them. Now, come down. Just, you wait your turn. You can read it from just trying to control. And there's this palpable, bubbling excitement from all of these individuals gathered before the lists.
This is a minor flare moment, but Reese is probably not the tallest person in the crowd and having a hard time seeing, and he's not a person that's going to push through. And so Lux is probably standing on his shoulders. And for a moment, he's frustrated because he can't see. And then his eyes glaze over, and he sees from above himself over the crowd. And
Nice.
he can read the list, and he probably snaps back out of it and like gives a look to Lux, and she just kind of whistles, shrugs.
Well, Fox shrug.
What the hell was that? Do it again.
The crowd is dense right in front of the list, and there are folks from all over the place.
Definitely keep my hood up.
As the crowd pushes their way through, eventually you do make your way to the list. Searching amongst it, you do find Blackhands. Listed at a midday bout with Sir Aaron Ron. Excuse me.
Never trust a man with 2 first names.
Sir Ekin Rond. R-O. So EKHINROND.
You done messed up, AA Rod.
That's where my head went. I look at the name and then I repeat it to whoever's standing closest to me. And I was like, and I kind of like shrug at them, like, I don't know. That means nothing to me.
Does this mean that Kai can read?
Kai can read. Oh, maybe. No, wait. I have
curious.
an intelligence of 8.
You are capable of reading.
I can read. I probably don't read well. Specifically, like
Okay.
I don't read common well.
They took away the literacy thing for barbarians.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I was just curious for flavor.
With an intelligence 8, he does read. He just reads like tabloid magazines. Like he knows what the Kardashians are doing.
No.
Reese,
Yes.
make a perception check.
Oh, that is. I'm too distracted. I rolled a 5 total.
Okay. Also, are you trying to be inconspicuous?
As much as possible.
Roll a stealth check for me.
Probably why I'm not very perceptive. But I have a white fox on my shoulders, so yeah. That's a 5 plus 1, so 6.
Okay.
I'm confused about the familiar. Can people see the fox if he wants them to, or does everybody just see it?
It's just a white fox, like a normal
Yeah,
fox.
it is a
Like a
fox.
pet.
Yeah,
It's the dolph that only certain people can see.
only certain
From what
people
we
have
can tell.
seen thus far that you're aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's just a normal pet. Otherwise, I'd be hiding her.
Would you like?
This is probably really uncomfortable.
If I may, kind of like while we're going about, Salut like is following along with the group, but is in an oddly state of high alert. Like is like trying to be hyper observant of anyone and everything around the area. Particularly anybody that seems to be taking notice of them in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, make a perception check for me.
Well, I gotta use it on a roll sometime, because that was a nat 1, so I will use my inspiration.
Oh, no.
It's a 14 on the die for a total of 19.
Okay. There is looking around. There's a lot going on out in front of the lists, and the first bout is already warm. Like they're beginning to warm up, and what you see. Let me quadruple check my math here. So there are 5 tiers to lead to the final bout. And so the first series of bouts are already preparing for the day. Yeah, okay. And looking around, there's a very large gentleman with a group following him. Bald head, big, thick, long red beard. If you crossed an Irishman with a Viking kind of physique and appearance, and he's leading this group through, and some people get out of the way, some people don't. But there's one person in that group, an older man, simple mustache and shaved face, otherwise graying hair, who is looking right at Reese.
Okay.
Is it just Selu that's noticing this, or
I take note of them and kind of like keep an eye on this person, kind of like holding back a few steps away from Reese purposefully, to try and like keep an eye on them. Just as a rider of kind of like what else Selu is more specifically looking for, so I should have said this up front. Having seen someone with the Tyrannine tattoos, if I remember correctly, there was someone that was around, or it had been mentioned. Who was it?
No. Kai has seen someone in Kai's background. Unless I don't have it in my notes, which is
You know what it was? It was Vizila recognizing mine. That's where the reference that was in my head was coming from. Okay. Okay. Well, regardless, very specifically keeping an eye out for anyone that looks like they might be with the Tyrannine.
Okay.
But at this moment, keeping an eye on this individual.
Kai, to answer your question, it was specifically stated that Selu was looking for these things, but you do see the large, strong man of a big red beard moving through with this kind of group of warrior-looking people following them. Mist, what are you doing in the process?
So Mist would be very since Kai said he wanted us to watch. Mist would be paying attention to the entrances of the combatants that are currently stepping in, and if they are being announced by somebody. And if they are, he's going to start working on his own entry announcement for Kai.
oh shit, this is a nice Jeffrey Chaucer moment.
It is. So currently, for the bouts that are occurring today, because there will be so many of them, there doesn't appear to be any sort of announcement occurring.
Doesn't mean it can't happen.
Oh yeah.
I didn't say no. I just said you don't see that happening. And with the sound of the clap of two large pieces of wood being slammed together, you hear the sounds of combat taking place. And peering around the list in the distance, the first duel has started.
So eventually, Mist would make his way over to Kai. It does not seem that these people are of much stature. They were not announced, but I do know that we spoke of nobles, and many times nobles like to have much pomp and circumstance about their duels. Would you like me to announce you when you fight?
Kai
Esquire.
gets like a really interesting look on his face. I am not familiar with these customs, so I will trust you, but please call me Black Hands.
Ah, Sir Blackhands. Got it.
I am not a
Mist,
knight.
Mist doesn't pay attention to that statement.
Awesome.
Sir Black Hands von Liechtenstein.
Protector of Ionian virginity.
So,
Oh man.
on that note, you have a little while until your bout starts. Is there anything in particular you would like to do, or would we like to kind of lean that direction?
The only thing I'd like to do before we start is I want to watch some of the contestants just to get like a
Yeah.
general level of skill. If I can make some checks on that.
Reese is probably curious to see if he can see recognizable people fight.
Okay. So Reese and you immediately recognize Aethoric and his following, moving with him off to one of the other dueling circles. So
Is
he's going
this the guy that Vizila and I made fun of?
the big yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
And that was
And-
not Vizila that you interacted with.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. I missed that.
And
That's okay.
just to clarify, this is the same individual that has the following that has a dude that's looking at
Mustache
Reese,
man.
right? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Just making sure I'm keeping everything.
But the older gentleman that very clearly noticed Reese does not appear to say anything.
Does he continue, to keep an eye on Reese, or?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
You probably notice Reese as he watches Aethoric leave, fiddling with something in his cloak, which you would probably recognize as where he keeps his mask.
Kai. The first bout up is a pair of long swordsmen, and watching them fight back and forth is a fairly quick exchange. One is clearly outmatched. The younger fighter yields very, very quickly to a flurry of skilled and precise blows that stagger and almost knock the younger fighter over. And the next fight is a gentleman who wields a spear just individually as its own weapon, and a young woman who looks fairly familiar. Mist, you, as she begins moving, you recognize the dance. As this woman, dressed in very masculine attire, as if in your brief interaction, Kai, you get that she dressed the way she does because of its function, rather than going for dresses and something frilly. And she dismantles him. Her footwork, every time he would go for a thrust, a jab, a slice with the head of his spear, she was not there anymore. It's as if she is 2 steps ahead of him constantly. And Kai, you have this moment where you're reminded, I'll see you at the top.
As soon as Mist recognizes her, he immediately goes to find a bookie.
Okay. So the list is still posted. Let me flip to her name here.
And he will do that part of the investigation as well. Like, this woman who just fought, who is she?
Aekan Cetrus. Aekan Cetrus.
That's right, I remember.
Setrus. Of Iona.
Of course she is. What?
Of note, she is wearing a glove on her sword hand.
Of course she is. Little bit of everywhere. What are the rules for placing bets on these spots? Is it per bout? Can I place a bet on a winner?
So there's a guy who looks like he's a farmer there. Just really kind of amongst yourselves, just keep it friendly.
Nah. And I will specifically tap into thieves can't stuff anything I can to be like, who's taking the big money bets?
Okay, make a real quick investigation check for me.
3 plus 5, 8.
Oh no!
No.
Yep, already used my inspiration point, so.
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough. Okay. You kind of get lost in looking around, and then you hear ting, 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 and your attention immediately goes back to her, and she's behind him now, and kicking his knee out from under him, and he staggers and raises a hand to yield.
No.
And the day kind of progresses like this. There's a gentleman who fights with a short sword and a shield, variety of weapons, and eventually, as the sun is getting high in the sky, the gentleman who was the kind of farmer fella who's managing the list comes over. You must be Black Hands?
Oh, what gave it away?
Oh,
Your
you
eyes.
know. I wish I was feeling that clever right now. Yeah, you're gonna be over in that ring over there. And he points at one of the two smaller rings outside. Here in just a couple of minutes. So, I believe your opponent is fighting with a longsword, but said, accepted in any challenge. So whatever weapon you prefer. Again, the rules are melee weapons only, no funny business.
Shit.
No, we had one fighter light their sword on fire one year. Just nothing.
That's
but-
Gary. He ruins everything.
it's Carl.
Fucking Carl.
But I lost my train of thought. Dang it, Carl!
Whoop,
That's why I'm here.
There was one more thing, and I've lost it. So you fight with whichever weapon you prefer. I see you've got two of them there.
Thank you. He's wielding a longsword. I'm gonna use Jubei's longsword then.
Awesome.
Oh, snap.
So as I'm assuming we kind of head that direction. What is Reese doing right now?
After watching a couple matches, he's probably like watching the crowd a little, but he's sticking with everybody. Just probably head down.
Kind of having kept their distance a little up to this point, Selu kind of closes in towards Reese. The three braids around from left to right are reformed, but still working on the pieces that come down, rebraiding each one. It's a process.
It takes an awfully long time.
It's a process. Walking around, this doesn't happen immediately. You seem to have caught someone's eye. I don't know if you've noticed or not.
Immediately pales.
Older gentleman, mustache.
Does it
Gray.
sound familiar to me?
I mean, you've known a few older gentlemen with mustaches. That's your particular type. That's fine.
He was over with the larger retinue.
Oh,
Big individual.
I would like to avoid him as much as possible.
Make a perception
Yeah.
check for me.
Me? That is a sweet natural 1.
Oh no.
So
Trying,
that comes out to
man.
a 4. Comes out to a 4.
No, sir, that comes out to a natural 1.
I don't want to use my inspiration. I don't want to use my inspiration yet. I feel like I'm going to need it.
So
Yeah, that's
your eye line kind of rises up as you see Kai beginning to prepare himself for his fight, and you just briefly glance over and you can see Aethoric. It's a head taller than everyone else.
Right.
There was jokes amongst his family that they had giant's blood in them and all that jazz. But it's so far away and it's a little overwhelming, and then you see Kai start to move and your vision focuses back that direction.
Kai is talking. It looks like he's talking to himself, but he's actually like talking to his ancestors. He's like, "Okay, not to doing this, but you have helped in the past, and I appreciate the help. But as the man said, no funny business. So just let me fight, please."
Please
No funny business.
do it.
And then I kind of like shrug, and I shrug out of my my sash, and draw my blade and my shield. Set that stuff off to the side.
Longsword and shield. All
Yep.
right.
Try to do
So-
this without raging.
So, as you step into the ring, the gentleman standing across from you is Sir Ekenrond. He is immediately familiar.
Oh, it's him.
Is this
Blonde
the-
hair, blue-eyed, his 2 retainers sitting on the other
Yes.
side. This is
Beautiful.
the noble who blew past you
Oh, okay.
and ignored you as if you weren't even there on the road here.
Okay. Not the guy that Mist and I quarreled with yesterday.
They got their sunglasses and their tracksuit on with the 80s villain music.
Oh my gosh.
No, those guys are over in a different retinue right now. But
Hopefully get advanced again.
the older gentleman says, this is kind of up to you to manage. Again, no funny business, and he's kind of eyeballing the other guy. No funny business. Fight fair, and it's fight to first blood. Nothing crazy. No, don't hurt anybody. Any questions?
So mechanically,
Mechanically, it will be a regular fight, and then whoever hits 0, that's first blood.
got it. Okay, that's what I figured it would work.
Okay. Oh boy.
I have a question. Is this Carl? Is this the asshole that lit his sword on fire? not a real
Well, that's not his
question.
name. So,
Sir Carlith of Screw It Up.
Sir Ekin draws his longsword and looks at you, kind of scoffs in your general direction,
Oh,
and attempts, we'll see how this roll goes, to stand dauntingly. Not bad. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
6. I can't read body language.
Okay. You can't read body language, but it's a little unnerving. There's a confidence to him. You're not used to squaring off with someone like this. And the longsword dips down in your direction and raises up. And calling it a longsword is being generous. It is definitely a duelist's blade. And the blade goes to the side, and a hand comes out towards you. And I would like you to roll initiative, please.
I nat 1'd on my initiative.
Oh no!
Hey, if I'm gonna nat 1 on anything, I'm okay with initiative.
Oh no! Not a duel.
It's fine.
Okay. In his confidence,
Oh.
seeing you almost off-footed in this moment, he just smiles real big and pulls his blade to the side as if he's about to do an upward slash and holds an action. It is your turn, sir.
Ooh.
Alright. Can I make any kind of insight check to see where his weight is? Just anything to figure out what exactly he's trying to do?
Roll a quick perception check.
And then I have a question too.
I have a 19 on perception.
Okay. His weight is forward-footed. He is definitely in a paused strike, if that makes sense. Like the tension in the arm, the twist, the rotation of the body. It's like somebody freeze-framed an upward slash.
Without any kind of like dancing around or anything, I'm gonna walk forward and then feint and see what happens. I don't know if you want me to make a roll for that.
So, are you going to close within 5 feet, or are you going to act like you're going to, and then?
Yes, that is my intention. Is to act like I'm.
So go ahead and roll a deception check for me.
Oh, I'm so good at
Deceive
those.
him.
Shit. Okay, that's actually a 15
Okay.
with my -1.
Stomping my rolls from last night into the dirt. His natural 20, he does not believe you, and he holds his ground.
Okay.
Dang.
Okay, so that we'll say that was almost all of your movement. If you wish to close and strike, you are welcome to.
Sure. Yeah. Fuck it.
Okay, so as you close, his held action occurs. Wow. Okay, second one.
God damn.
Double ones.
Wow.
So you're going to take 6 points of slashing damage, sir.
Okay. So thematically, I'm not actually getting hit.
Correct.
This is all like us exerting like. Okay.
So if you think about the old D20 Star Wars, it's like
Yes.
where's your vitality versus
Yes,
your
okay.
stamina.
I was just confirming. Okay. Do you want to describe what that looks like?
So that held slash that he had, that upward swing comes through, and you're able to bring your shield up to absorb the blow, but it's almost staggering for a second. There's strength behind his strike.
And now I get to attack.
Yes, sir.
Alright, let's see what happens here. Alright, that's a solid 15 on the die. I think that's a dirty 20.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah, it's a +5, yeah. Dirty
definitely hit.
20. Cool. It's a d8. 6 plus 3 is 9. 9 points of slashing damage.
Nicely done, sir.
Kai's movements are very, like, small, economical. He only moves as much as he needs to. So even when the other person my opponent is striking at me, like I'm like dodging back, but the blade is passing very, very close to me, and my movements are the same. As I like lunge forward, my blade moves very quickly. It doesn't go any further than it has to. I let the movement continue into the next. So all like conservation of momentum and all that.
Awesome.
and the track gets the fight's getting real intense now, guys.
It's intense.
Yeah, don't.
That's just the taiko drum band. They're warming up.
Yeah. Don't mind the clicking on a random spot on the screen to get off of the thing I was on, and whoops. So Sir Ekin takes a quick sidestep to the left, trying to get around behind that shield. You're wielding your sword right-handed, I assume. So trying to get around behind that shield and come in and slash behind your sword. But as he does, his left hand comes up and grips the back of the hilt as he goes in two-handed.
Okay.
Ooh.
14 to hit.
15, sir.
Okay.
Nice.
Your just those short economical movements. He was expecting some sort of bigger motion, and the sword just passes clean through in between your guard, but never strikes home.
Cool.
Yeah.
So thematically, I wanna hook his arm with my shield arm and strike at him and see as my next attack.
Awesome.
Oh, that's another 15, so dirty 20.
Hits.
Hell yeah.
So
Damage is not as good. That's a 5 slashing damage.
Okay.
so I have a question.
You have a question.
Reese is a horrible fighter, so he
Yeah.
doesn't know what's happening. So he elbows Jubei and says,
Wait, is Jubei here?
"Jubei."
No, Jubei's not there.
Jubei.
Oh,
Jubei's
Jubei's at
asleep.
the end.
Then I'm gonna
Snoring.
default to Mist and Selu. Do any of you think that watching this person, is there anything you could tell Kai to help him fight? I have an
Like-
idea.
You nudge Mist, and Mist is, shh, I'm watching the fight. And he's like intently observing the opponent to make sure that there's no funny business is going on.
Basically, I'm looking like, does this person favor like a certain thing, or are they like doing something wrong? And then I'm gonna tell Kai that.
Okay. Roll an insight, but I'm going to put it at disadvantage because this is not your forte. Hang
Yeah,
on to it,
definitely.
and I'll come back to it.
Sure.
So Kai, that slash once again, he barely dodges to the side, catches a bit of your blade off of his gauntlet, that leather-wrapped gauntlet he's wearing, caught off-footed, and he takes a moment and steps back and brings up the blade in a much more efficient stance, stepping out of the showman and stepping into the warrior.
There we go.
And he is going to action surge
Ooh.
and attack you twice.
That's fine.
15 and 16.
Yes, both.
For a total of 18.
Ow. Okay.
Oof.
And so this flurry of sword strikes coming in, almost getting you back-footed.
So I sense this. I start falling backwards, and I'm like, he's driving me back. And I literally stop and very abruptly change my direction and throw my shoulder into him. And that is an 11 to hit.
It does not hit.
I didn't think so.
So he sees it coming and just sidesteps. Reese, what was your roll?
It was only an 11.
Okay.
Which isn't bad for a disadvantage.
That quick change of motion totally threw your thesis out the window.
Yeah.
So stepping quick-footedly to the side and going for a riposta falcone, straight downward strike, stepping into to move that downward slashing action. His timing's off, and it just goes right behind you as you follow through with the rest of that forward step.
And I'm gonna drop into a combat roll. And as I come up, around the area behind him, I'm going to throw my shield out. No, I'm not throwing my shield. I'm like swinging my shield
follow.
out behind me. Yeah. All right, that's a 17.
Okay, 17 definitely hits.
Okay, 10 damage.
Okay.
My shield crashes into him, throws him off balance.
As the shield cracks into him, he hits a knee, and as the blow just off steps, throws off words. It's been a day. Just completely shatters his balance. And as he hits his knee, he pivots on that knee, coming across one-handed, using his other hand as balance, coming across one-handed, trying to catch you on the back. And you said 15? I rolled
15.
a 14.
15.
Okay. So just narrowly, you feel the breeze of it passing you.
He's down on one knee, is that what you said?
He is.
Okay. Falling into the more like Prodrin style of like close combat, I'm gonna close the distance and like it's up to you if you want me to make this an unarmed attack, but I'm gonna throw a knee at him.
I would, yes.
Okay.
With the shield, but
Okay. It's a 21.
definitely hits.
So with damage for an unarmed strike, is it just flat damage? I think it's just flat damage.
Yeah. 1 plus strength.
I do 4.
It was muted.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 plus strength.
It's funny. I would do 0.
Okay.
Just throwing a knee into his like solar plexus.
Okay.
Going for the wind, knocking the wind out of him.
And you succeed, and he takes it and follows through with the motion of the blow and rolls backwards, coming up in a desperate crossbody strike, two-handed. I'm paying for those natural 20s.
He's getting desperate.
And whiffs by a mile. There's a sense of exhaustion to his movements.
Kai is following very like methodically, keeping up the shield and keeping up his defense, and just going to do a very economical slash forward. And I rolled a 2, so that's a 7.
Oh no.
Okay. His kind of tired, staggered movements. There was just a hint of confidence there that just pushed. You stepped outside of the I know this works and went, okay, I can do this. Oh nope, stick with it. And he, having a moment to regain his footing, is going to 17 to hit.
Yeah.
For 6 points of damage.
Ow. Okay. Okay, so I am going to. Sorry, describe that for me.
So once again, the last strike was crossbody and very off balance, and with your miss, he flips the blade over and plants that left foot and comes back across far more stalwartly.
Okay, I drop down. His sword doesn't hit me, but the pommel of the blade ends up like catching my shoulder and knocking me like over a little bit. But I'm gonna come up with like a slash, like an upward slash.
Awesome.
Okay, that's an 18.
18 definitely hits.
Come on, damage. Yes. Okay, that's 10.
Nice.
Okay. Sitting around a campfire, how would you tell the tale of this first blood duel win?
So I said it was an upward slash. He throws his body back as far as possible to avoid it, and the tip of the blade passes through his chin, shaving his. Does he have facial hair?
Yeah, he's got a goatee.
Yeah, he shaves like a thin line through the goatee, and then blood wells just down his neck. And I hold my blade there, and then I return it to the sheath, and I bow.
And he's still waiting to strike at you.
I'm so pissed.
And there's this, like, shock on his face. Well done. Then he turns and just walks off.
He's pissed. Yes.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Of note, the blade, as it passed through, there was no resistance. You struck a person, you struck flesh, but the craftsmanship of the blade
That's so cool.
was incredible.
Excellent.
The moving it around, it is so light.
Like water.
Walking back to my side of the ring, I'm like, no funny business. Thank you.
And the older man, the farmhand that's standing there, right, Black Hands wins, and walks off. Very like, no
Clear cut.
ceremony, no
It's the
nothing.
first round. I get it. It's fine.
Like, and as this wraps up, Sailor like looks over at Reese and is like, "Wait, you asked something? What? Well, I'm sorry. I was.
Don't
That was
worry about it.
incredible."
I saw the whole thing and have no clue how to do it.
It was almost so fast. Reese,
Yeah. Like how I've literally fought with you all and I don't know what you're doing.
That was very pretty, if nothing else. You could at least admire that.
Yes.
the gentleman he was just fighting is standing there with his two retainers, one with dark black hair and one kind of an older fellow graying. And they're looking up at Kai, and the noble that you just defeated is still like, how?
Suck.
He's shocked that he lost.
Do they look particularly vengeful or just upset?
Well, they're gonna attack us in an alley.
Yeah, like Reese has dealt with unsavory types before. Are these the people that are going to stab us in a back alley?
Roll an insight check.
Kai is not. He would not even
19.
be looking for this. So
Plus 3, so 22.
nice.
You don't see any sort of like vengeful or malicious intent in their face.
Good.
It's just shock.
Cool. You did very good and very impressed.
He was a good fighter. I am a bit winded, actually.
But you're better, so.
Now that you have beaten a knight, I will certainly introduce you as a knight. I just I go about like scribbling different lines in my notepad.
Is that how it
I-
works?
I just trail off. Like, I see you continue to write, and I'm like,
You just can't argue with Miz.
Meanwhile, Jubei's back at the inn snoring, and every snore is like a little jet of flame.
strangely, you dream of Kai beating the ass of some noble that blew by us on the road.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Jubei was sleeping. He knew you were gonna win.
There's
Awesome.
a moment as the crowd kind of filters away. There's some clapping and some cheering. Nothing, like no huge fanfare. And it's almost kind of a letdown in a way.
Mhm.
Like, oh, the first day of the first nobody cares.
Kai has no expectations for this, so he doesn't notice at all.
Yeah.
Reese is probably like was clapping and then realized no one else is and stops. Oh,
Nobody's
okay.
gonna come look until it's like the last contenders.
There's a moment as the crowd is clearing, and you see hood up, long blonde hair coming out from underneath her hood. Aiken, the duelist you spoke with the day prior, standing against a post, looking at you.
I give a very subdued bow towards her.
You got the cloth clap.
She nods, smiles, and turns and goes back into the crowd, heading over towards the other secondary fighting ring. And a moment passes, and it seems like there's a crowd gathering there.
Maybe we should watch this one too.
A large crowd.
Yeah, I want to go over there. Do it.
Yeah. Okay. I follow Kai. He's so big, I can just like follow him through a crowd.
Yeah.
Like he like parts the crowd.
Everybody move!
Like me, it was like me walking through Japan.
You are the brute squad.
So as you close, there's a rider and a horse in the middle of the crowd, as if the crowd has gathered around that rider. And sticking just barely ahead over the horse's back is Aethoric, that long red Viking beard. And he looks angry, visibly, as if radiating off of him. Even the horse is stepping and unnerved.
Is he fighting a horse?
No, it is a crowd, not a duel.
Okay. The way you're describing it, it's like...
Who's on the horse?
What has happened?
There is a young man in simple leathers, sword and shield on the horse. And he's chatting very upsettedly, very fervently with Aethoric. A little far away at this point to...
He looks like he could be entertaining. And, yeah, gonna shuffle forward as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I was just asking someone random in the crowd, like, if they knew. What has happened?
Problems back home, I think. A moment passes, and the young man gets back on his horse and starts leading it out of the crowd. And that contingent, that posse, if you will, starts barreling through the crowd towards the inn.
Our inn?
No, inn on the ground floor.
A inn.
We in the Poe Inn. They in the Rich
I was like,
No, they're in the Poe Inn.
No,
they're in the restful
in the
way.
dirt floor inn.
Yeah.
Was I able to move forward quickly enough to hear anything that was said?
Roll a stealth check for me. To like move through the crowd.
18.
Okay. The conversation breaks off with, "We'll go home tonight." And that's all you caught.
Shit. Man, I want to beat this dude's ass. Try.
And that was not Aethoric. That was someone else.
Someone else said we'll go home.
Yeah.
Was it the person that Aethoric was fighting?
They didn't see who Aethoric was going to fight. They just saw him heading towards his bout. Then Kai's bout happened, and then they see this aftermath.
I guess that's why I'm confused. Why did you
It
say
wasn't a
Aethoric?
fight.
Who was pissed off then?
Aethoric.
Aethoric was pissed. But
The news pissed him
not
off.
he was not pissed like at the person on the horse. He
So
was
there, a
pissed by
crowd
whatever
had
was happening.
gathered. A crowd had gathered, and around this rider, this messenger, and Aethoric was visibly upset. And in that moment, as they start off, Mist heard, "Fine, we'll just go home tonight."
And then I will get out of their way as they start bustling towards the inn and go back to the group.
There's this pregnant pause in the crowd, a tension present from whatever this turn of events is.
I do not know what has happened, but it seems that this group will be leaving this evening. Some news.
Is that rider still nearby?
Make a perception check for me.
Yeah. 8.
Okay. With the tension and the stress of the moment, you lost track of them.
I'm not sure what would have made him so upset to go home. Or to send people home.
Do you know who this person was?
The tall one? Yes.
Any of them? I don't know them.
Well, another one
The
of
big
them
one.
certainly.
His name is Aethelric. He is a warlord from Thrayne. A bandit.
This does not sound like a good person.
No. And you see, like, Reese visibly uncomfortable.
Perhaps best that they do leave. Kind of
I
like
agree.
We
look at
ambush
Reese a little
them, of course.
knowingly based off of the previous conversation.
From my memory, did I see where Jarl Kellner is going to be fighting today?
He has the last bout of the day.
Okay.
So all of the fighters are supposed to have 2 bouts the first day.
Gotcha.
However, as you are walking to the list to go double check where Kellner was, you see Taggart there. He has torn all the lists down, and he is writing a new list.
What happened?
I'm afraid we've lost a few fighters.
You.
I'll see if I can salvage this today. If not, we'll start again tomorrow.
I placed some bets. Do you know if Jarl Kellner is still fighting?
Kellner. Where is he from?
Lostrin.
Probably not then.
What happened?
There's some sort of attack or something. The Jarls, whatever they call themselves now, the big ones, Holdfast, has been sacked.
Super Jarl.
Oh dear.
Uber Jarl, probably.
One step
No,
below the
Uber Jarl.
one step below the Mega Jarls. That's
Yeah. But above the Mecha Jarl.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High
course.
King or Jarl King?
Would you happen to know where Jarl Kellner would be staying?
That whole delegation's over at the Restful Wake, over at Zane's.
Okay. Thank you.
Cheap rooms, cheap alcohol. Most
Right.
Losterns don't have good taste anyway.
Thank you for that. Turn around.
Roast.
What? As he looks up from what he's doing.
I'm gone.
Okay.
And I rejoin the party.
Jubei. There is a knock at the door.
And then I would pay for wake up service. Have I gotten a short rest at least, or
No, you have absolutely short rested.
Okay.
But you still have that level of exhaustion.
Go to the door. Hello?
As you open the door, Clover is
I didn't
standing.
open the door.
Okay. You hear on the other side, it's Clover. There's a note for you. Mr. Jubei. If I don't know who's in there.
I open the door. Well, I'm the only one with this accent. It's definitely handsome, even from across the room, don't you think?
Right. Here you go. Sorry, you're not my type.
Well, that's fine. I wasn't insinuating that, but I'm sure somewhere I'm handsome.
I love this.
There's this confusion on her face. Right. Okay. I have no doubt that, yeah. This is awkward. I'm gonna. And
Just
she turns
smile.
around.
Have a good day. Shut the door.
You too.
Oh, that means you won't bother me again today.
And there is a note. It is a letter folded in the Drusen fashion and sealed with a wax seal of a tower, like a castle tower, and a shield behind it.
Take it and snap the wax and open it up.
Okay. In Draconic, in specifically calligraphied in Draconic, is no insult or dishonor was intended. My apologies. And that's it.
Thinking to myself out loud since he's alone. I wasn't insulted or dishonored. I just didn't want to be stabbed in the back.
Simple man.
Why don't people understand this? Oh well. And just leave the note laying on the nightstand. And continue my long rest. Get rid of that level of intelligence.
Okay, cool. There's this almost disappointed, pregnant, tense atmosphere back down on the floor. You can hear the festivities on the step and on the midden, but there's this almost like fog of frustration hanging over this slowly dispersing crowd.
Everybody got their violent blue balls going on.
Yeah. I would like to go to the inn and speak to someone. If you all don't mind.
All of these news is coming from a place that you are attached to, yes?
In a way, yes.
Which inn
We will
do you want to
do
go
whatever
to?
you need to do.
The one down here where, and I like gesture towards like the giant walking into it probably. Where he is.
Do you wish to go alone, or do you want accompaniment?
I'll come with you. And I just start walking off towards the door.
Please do come. And I'll walk with Mist.
Sailor looks back at Kai. Do you need? I don't know when you're. Do you have another bout today?
Well, we're still near Taggart, right?
He's near enough
Yeah.
that you can see that he has torn down the lists.
I'll shrug and walk back over there. Do I fight again?
Don't know, to be honest. This throws everything out of order. Like, he beat his opponent, but now he's leaving. Give me an hour, I'll have it back up after lunch.
I will come back after lunch. Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Boy. Okay. Then I'm gonna walk into this place, kick the saloon doors in. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to slink into this place and try to see if I can recognize Jarl Kellner. If not, then I'm gonna walk up to Zane.
Okay, make a stealth check.
Ah. That's a 7.
Okay, I assume Mist is being missed.
Yeah, I'm walking around with him. Yep.
Okay, has anybody else gone in?
Selu would have waited for Kai, but if that's where everybody has gone at that point, then Selu would definitely like be around. Still, like, mostly keeping an eye on things, especially coming into where we know these people were, where somebody was looking specifically for Reese, and now this is where Reese has gone. Selu's definitely like not directly interacting with people, kind of sticking to the outside and keeping an eye on things, but keeping close-ish to Reese.
Okay. You walk up to the bar, and Selu and Mist will notice immediately that someone has walked right up behind Reese and is reaching for his arm.
Mist is going to put a hand on his dagger and move to stand directly next to Reese.
I was gonna say Selu has already taken 3 steps forward. Like,
Am I in here yet, or am I still coming back from?
Yeah, you can clearly be catching up as well about this time.
is this person recognizable?
It is the graying man with the mustache.
The mustache man. Mysterious mustache.
Selu will.
Yet again. I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. Yeah, Selu is seeing this and realizing what is going on. Selu has started forward and is coming up like behind the old dude.
Okay.
Same, but faster. Mainly because I'm a little behind Selu.
There's this moment where the tension is kind of elevated, and this gentleman reaches up and grabs Reese's arm. Reese, your arm is grabbed from behind.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
Okay. Do I get a feeling of emotion from Lux, from this person behind me? Or does that take too much time?
That will take too much time. What is your reaction?
To turn around and place a hand on that hand.
Okay. As you jerk around, you come face to face with a very tired and very frustrated Josef Kellner. And you look past him and see Selu and Kai like coming in, and Mist has stepped up next to you, and you see 2 Lothran warriors rising up to meet the challenge.
No, it's it's okay. He's a friend. Joseph.
Selu, as soon as Reese says that they're good, Selu like stops
Yeah, I
in,
come up
in
short.
their tracks.
Like a Western saloon showdown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mist goes to hands up.
Just for a slight bit of flavor, like as Selu stops, Reese, you in particular, there is like a moment of a like past
Oh,
your
yeah.
ear, just as like a wisp of wind, like rushes past and then stops.
I imagine when my hand clasped on his before I could see him, there was light steaming up from it, and then it stopped. What happened?
You're a fucking fool coming in here.
I don't know what happened. Like, what's going on?
Outside.
Okay.
And he looks
And
around.
Look, I'm not very good at this.
Nods at his two men who sit back down. He goes outside with you.
Yeah, I follow him.
Okay.
Do I get to follow you as well?
Yeah, Selu
Do I get to stay
is
here?
following propriety be damned. Like Selu is at least walking outside to make sure until Reese says,
Yeah, he'll let them
"No,
follow
Like,
unless Joseph says otherwise.
It goes to show Jubei never needs to separate from the party because you guys
Yeah.
in so much trouble.
Almost starting fights. It's fine.
I'm gonna wake up. Hey, Jubei, we're going to war. What?
So yeah, I'll follow him around to a quieter spot.
You're a fool walking in there.
Look,
You
I was
know
looking for
who's
you.
in there.
I do, but I'm looking for you.
You fucking found me.
Yeah, that did. It worked. What happened?
Don't know. Would you believe me if I told you they're saying giants attacked the keep?
Like real giant.
Nobody's seen giants in years. There's no way.
I wouldn't knock it out of reason right off the bat. I've seen some things.
Aetheric's keep is sacked.
Good.
Most of his lands, but hey, those are your people.
I know, but I know.
You think they want to follow him?
No.
They're fucking scared.
Why didn't they leave like the others did? There's not much there.
Walking away is scarier for some.
I agree. I assume you're going back too.
I don't have a choice. I'm a fucking.
I know.
Lots changed.
Hasn't even been that long.
It's been like 2 weeks. What are you talking about?
It's been a winter since I saw you.
I know, but things change quickly in Western, I know.
Huh.
Are you doing all right?
I'm under that fucker's banner. What the fuck do you think?
I mean, figured everyone was. I'm surprised he hasn't killed you.
Ah, well. He couldn't have tried.
Well, we know that for a fact. Look, I know I was stupid to walk in there, but I was just worried. I might have left Lostren, but I still care about it. And its people.
Well, as far as I know, Halmstead, Rixfort, Thrayne. He's listing off towns.
Mm-hmm.
Are all burned or sacked. We don't. Aetheric's mad, so somebody's gonna die.
Right.
Gotta get him out of here before it's one of these folks. We'll ride home,
Right.
see what happens.
I'll be
Once-
here probably.
Once more to war.
It's not a surprise.
I'm fucking tired.
I mean, I can tell, but I. Do you know of a Jarl Una?
Everyone who is present, make an insight check.
Ooh, solid 21.
Yeah, not. I'm way too stressed.
14.
11.
Okay.
Home
He
sweating.
says, "Yeah, I've heard of her." Kai, what you hear is, "I know her well, and I don't want to talk about it."
Okay.
Look, all I know is that she left Lostrin with others, refugees. And
Yeah,
if it's a life that's better than, and I gesture towards the inn, him.
And as you
Why not
gesture
treat
towards the
others?
end and look back over your shoulder, you see there are horses being brought around and baggage and armor being brought out.
Yeah.
It looks more like especially Kai, from your perspective, it looks more like a war party preparing than it does a traveling caravan. And they're like in the middle of the square. They don't care.
Right. Is there anything that I can do for you?
Don't die.
I don't plan on it.
Look, I owe you a debt I don't think I can ever pay. But stay alive. That'll be enough.
Then pay me back by staying alive yourself. I hate for my gift to go in vain. And maybe bring others out safely too. I know you're fighting for him, but keep the others
That's a
safe.
real loose interpretation.
I mean, I know how loose it is.
I do what I got to keep our people safe. To keep those that swore to me and my family safe.
Right. I think the world's a bit different now. A lot different.
I didn't mean the Hamilton references, Tiff. I'm sorry. They worked, though. They were great.
I want to be in the room where it happened.
Yep, I do. Listen, I owe you a debt, and I don't know if I'll ever repay it, but I don't have a choice on what I gotta do now.
That's fair.
If you want to help, come home. Help.
Mm.
But don't be so in a hurry to die.
Well, at the moment, going home looks like a way to die.
Yeah, sure does.
I'd rather not ride with them. They just as soon hang me.
If you're lucky. He's got a thing for drawn and quartered right now.
Imagine he's just that dude from Game of Thrones. Yeah, everyone knows who that dude is.
But the mountain?
No, the The
Ramsey,
Oh,
Ramsey.
the Boltons.
well,
I don't know what the fuck to tell you.
I'll stay safe. I'll find where Jarl Luna is. And if more people come down, then I'll send them to her.
There's a visible tension on his face when you mention Una.
You have a problem with her?
I don't want to talk about it.
Fair enough.
You do not have
Just
enough
figured.
influence over this character to get that quick.
Which is actually debatable because I could pull a trump card, but no.
Do you?
Well, it's a safer place than... No, it's a safer place with her than in Lostrin. Especially if there are giants.
What's good? What good is it to run away? You're not helping anybody.
Live. I helped plenty of people.
Kai's face kind of falls when he hears that.
What point is staying somewhere where you'll die? Or suffer? I helped plenty of people, like you. Get out of there. Live. And I gesture towards Aethelric, when someone like him has it away with him. I sent many people south before I did.
There's a tension that eases, and you see the sorrow on his face. It's not that easy.
I know. Just good luck. Stay safe.
Looks back at the rest of you, and then looks at Kai. Yeah, keep this one alive, yeah?
I've done so far. No matter how hard he tries.
That sounds about right. Kellner puts a hand on your shoulder, and squeezes it,
I give him a hug.
and there's this. Right.
Don't die. Don't die. I hate to save you again.
Yeah. Once is enough.
And I just let him go.
And he goes back to the party.
And then Lux probably jumps up into Reese's arms. And he just like holds her. I think I'd like to go back for lunch now.
I don't think staying around here is probably for the best.
No. And I will walk off.
And on that super somber note,
Man.
is where we're gonna call it this week, y'all.
Oof.
Cool.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oof.
I had an easy game.
You really did.
You worked really hard and then rested
Yeah.
really hard.
Of note, Bill, the seal on the letter that you received is not the same as the seal on the letter that Mist received.
Do I recognize the seal?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't feel Drusen in its style. It's very like European. And honestly, even the seal on the letter that Mist received felt very European. So, woo!
I have actual sweaty palms.
Then I'd call that a successful D&D session.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
let's-
legitimately a Western saloon walking in.
No.
Man, I'm gonna have to watch this one because I took like one note.
Yeah.
So to embrace Bill's tradition for accolades, and so we don't go in the same order every time, everybody roll a d20 for me, and we'll decide accolade order.
The only time I roll a d20 this entire game, and it's a natural 20.
There you go.
Oh. Okay.
All right, 20 to 15. 15 to 10.
12. Which is interestingly the same thing I rolled last night when we did accolades.
12 to 5. Or 10 to 5.
Everybody's holding up their numbers.
Well.
Oh, I did better than other people.
Alright, well, that's easy.
4 and then 2.
Oh my god.
Good thing that wasn't for initiative.
It's a
Yeah.
good thing Sailor was
Goodness.
not rolling a lot of dice tonight, apparently.
Yeah,
Because
same.
Yeah.
good
Same.
night.
My
Every time I roll,
rolls
it's awful.
were all over the place. Bill, you want to start us off?
Sure. A little selfish. I gotta give it to Kai. The whole interaction, receiving the sword, it was awesome.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
To be fair, you didn't do anything else, so.
The owlbear approves. He thought it was great.
Dude, that was a beautiful exchange.
It
And
That was absolutely beautiful.
I literally wanted to do like a whole little presenting ceremony with the sword, but with it being so late and Jubei being exhausted and him going for the fight, it's literally, here you go. Have
It
fun
was almost
storming the
more
castle.
special. I liked it.
Yeah. And there's nothing saying you can't go back and do the ceremony later.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to name it.
Oh,
Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, so right back at you, man. That was an awesome moment. Really loved sharing that with you. So my accolade goes to Bill. I did really like Gabe. I really liked our one-on-one combat scene there. Describing that with you seamlessly was really fun as well. So props to you.
Agreed, and thank you. Patrick.
That was going to be my accolade. That entire scene was like amazing. I pictured it as like one of those like sword fighting manuals. I could just see every move. It was so cool,
Thank you.
and it made me mad that I was playing a non-martial character.
Sean.
Mine goes to Selu for this evening. The entire depiction of the relaxation scene in the garden, unrolling your hair, you're unbundling your clothing, and the way you described that sounded really pretty and gave me a relaxing sense for myself listening to you describe that. So I appreciate that.
Thanks.
And then it wound back up.
Oh, it's wound real tight right now.
Oh man.
I think I'm the last one. So mine is going to go to Reese here at the end because everybody's already hit everything else that was already phenomenal through the rest of this. I won't say everything else. There's a lot of really good stuff tonight. But Reese at the end, like the like facing your fear to go into this place and figure out what happened back home, even though you've made it clear you have some mixed feelings about home. And then the interaction with, I'm already blanking on his name. Joseph. Yes. Thank you. There's a lot of heartfelt statement of like what Reese has been through and how that has related to a lot around the character, and it was a really, really cool, like deep insight moment. Getting to like watch those statements come out of where Reese is really coming from. Some really, really cool insight into Reese tonight, for sure.
Yeah, it was one of those moments where we were starting to be able to put those puzzle pieces together. I enjoyed that as well.
Yeah.
So as per usual for me, I can't just pick one. So Bill, the I'm beautiful interaction.
Beautiful.
Hands
Handsome
fucking
somewhere.
down.
So
Hands
good.
down.
Yeah, it's like I wanted to make it awkward because he wanted to be left the fuck alone.
That's so genius.
Kai, the fight sequence, man, just so cool. And walking in, the way you handled going into that and coming out of it, beautifully done. Selu, the hesitation with manifesting your abilities when you saw the Vex, the Kestrel
Yes.
Vex, just golden. Absolute RPG gold. Loved that, and I love seeing characters intentionally handicap themselves for real, like thematic and role playing moments. And on that note, Reese, you did the same. I'm blanking on the exact role that it was now because it's late. But you did the same thing where you're like, nope, I'm anxious. I'm not even doing it, which was wonderful. And then the lore dump for
Right.
Reese, like there's enough puzzle pieces there that like everybody's trauma is starting to show through.
Yeah.
Missed. There were actually two of them for me, for you very specifically. The painting the picture with minor illusion.
So cool.
Or silent image, was it? Just stunningly described, and a really cool way to manifest that ability for the first time. With that pairing, the belt on the duelist, like such a cool way to disarm that, literally and metaphorically, to disarm that scene. Everyone did so freaking well tonight. Oh man, I don't even know who to give the inspiration to.
Well, you got 6 of us counting you, so roll a d6, and if you roll yourself, give yourself inspiration.
I've still got one that I've been
Danger.
hanging on to. Honestly, I think I'm gonna yield it to Patrick here. I think you may still have one.
I do.
But my inspiration point is going to go
I-
to you for that interaction at the end.
I want to give it to Selu for the Kestrovix encounter. That was like a really heavy RP thing of withholding something, and I loved it
Thank you.
thematically. I know our characters weren't there to see that part of Selu, but the players were, and it was great.
Thanks. That one was definitely a personal struggle moment. My brain broke there for a second trying to decide what to do about it.
I get it. I had a couple of those tonight.
Yeah.
And let's give a heads up to the little piece of art behind me. If our viewers enjoy
Oh,
that, send an emote to our chat, and I will do a new one each
Oh my
episode.
god. Can it please not be that?
Don't
Clarification,
encourage him.
please
Do
don't.
it.
Don't encourage him.
All the emotes.
So, did you guys know that this overlay shows whether or not we have inspiration or not?
Does it?
Does it really?
Yeah, if you click on if you click on a character,
Yeah, it does.
gives
It
you
does.
a little
yeah.
inspiration thing. I just found that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it does need
How cool.
Fun.
fancy.
That overlay's cool.
It's pretty sweet.
Today I learned.
It's lots like you can pull up almost the entire character sheet through that overlay.
Yeah, you
for,
can.
Like whatever
You can actually
people
link to
wanna
it.
look at it.
Yeah, you can click the view
And
character sheet.
by the way, it doesn't have to be just you and Jacob every time. We have a lot of faces.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
in the Forever
please,
DM.
please, can it not be me next time? Like, dear God, trying to like watch your camera and during the exchange with you and
Yes,
Kai,
yes.
and I just see this
Yourself.
Majesty.
with my friggin'.
I mean, I've got that one.
Good.
Yep,
I mean, I can
Yeah.
just do that one.
because this is what he does. This
I
is
managed
what
to go the whole game without acknowledging it.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Super proud of myself. But
I mean,
Can't ignore it.
did you guys know Jacob models?
Yeah,
He-
clearly.
yeah.
I
I mean,
Obviously.
and
all
for
right.
tattoos, like
so
in Jubei's own words, I'm handsome somewhere. So
So our next game will be this coming Saturday. There will be an aired rerun in our normal time slot for Breakfast and Dragons that we had to play and stream last night because of scheduling issues. And then May 11th, we will be back for the next episode of Thrayne to figure out what the heck just happened with this upended festival. And Reese feeling all sorts of emotions everywhere. So, getting just his emotions all over everything.
it's so much
Yep.
stuff.
Spreading them everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you very much for tuning in. We had lots of people hanging out through the night, which was awesome. Thank you for interacting in the chat.
Yeah.
And, I hope you're enjoying the story so far. Sometimes D&D is a little weird when it's, kind of on the same map for a while and a lot of
Yeah.
theater of the mind stuff, but kind of feeling a little old school with that. So, loving it.
I dig it.
Thanks, guys, for playing. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And anybody watching later on, thank you very much for checking us out. And have a wonderful night.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Peace.